It is mid-morning in Tamale, and residents are already going about their businesses. We meet Memunatu, not her real name, a lymphatic filariasis or elephantiasis patient. Already, she has cleaned her legs and toes twice as one of the procedures for controlling the disease. Memunatu tells us that in the late 90s, she broke a lump that looked like a pimple on her leg and that grew so big. Initially, she was sent to a traditional herbalist who said he could heal her of the disease. Unfortunately, it affected her other leg and her parents took her to the hospital. It was there that they found out that it was lymphatic filariasis, which is also called elephantiasis. She tells us what it felt like on being told she had the disease.
I was from one when it started to wake up and it was itching that I started. So later I found out it's coming big small. We thought it was the local, so we were taking it to local treatment. There was water inside. When they did the local medicine from water, later on it just lost in the water out. So later it happened that there is the water inside. We didn't go to the one give us the medicine. We just sent it to hospital and they treat it. Reduce in size. It's reduced at the normal size was.
She was taken to a hospital and directed to the disease control unit of the health service. Thanks to the neglected tropical disease program, she was able to get some medicine that contained the disease, and today she is able to control it. She cleans her legs whenever she feels they are dirty.
I walk and I feel there is that's moment and I wash it. I even have the book reading how to treat it. A minister, you wash it. Normally, I used to go there 6 months time. So, if not because of the medicine, there were left that I even go bigger than this.
On the other side of Tamale is Alhaji Mahama, also not his real name, whose case worsens as the days go by. According to the retired public servant, he contracted the disease in 1992 during the elections when some violence occurred at a nearby center where he was injured. His leg was pricked by a nail in the heat of the commotion, and he used hydrogen peroxide and penicillin to treat it, and that was the beginning of his predicament. However, unlike Memunatu, who sought help from the health service after it became clear that traditional medicine could not heal the condition, Alhaji continued to self-medicate. It was only recently that he was introduced to health professionals. He tells us how he feels.
During 1992, 1902, there was an election.
The first election.
That's right.
Under the
That's right. So the other party was people came to attack us. And I was supervising the United Primary School. Once one boy who thought he was also a member of my group. So the moment he got to that place and he saw the boy coming with his back towards the boy, he was feeling the boy was coming to grab him. So he jumped, and as I was seated by the table, schools, you know, the school, they are not so strong. Then he break the top of the table. So a needle from the table pierced me here. But I didn't take it serious.
Today, Alhaji's case has been complicated by diabetes and his legs are at risk of being amputated. He admits that if he had taken it seriously earlier, the condition would not have become as severe as it is.
The blood stopped and some watery matter like this was coming. It was painful. So I just went and bought hydrogen peroxide and then penicillin ointment. I came and washed the whole place with hydrogen peroxide and then applied the penicillin ointment. Kai. In about an hour's time, hey! If I knew, I wouldn't have done it. Then this, my leg, it became as fat as this.
Idrisu Imbanya is the Tamale Metro Health Disease Control Officer, and he agrees that among the main problems hindering smooth running of the program are the belief in traditional methods and self-medication. He also says it is desperation and some traditional beliefs that make them go to such lengths. Today, most people still think their diseases are spiritual, and traditional herbalists continue to take advantage of them.
For the situation, the person is desperate and feels that there's somebody Guinea worm came and then all the place was there, oh, it's witchcraft. Now they have believed that it's not from witchcraft, it's from drinking contaminated water. And now we are just on the verge of the food eradication. But once you are in that situation, you are desperate. You are desperate, and then because you are desperate because you are not taking a drug to cure it. So while you are not taking a drug to cure it, and it is that it's to manage, and it doesn't go completely. You see what has happened.
According to him, there is a majority of people with such beliefs attributing their diseases to superstitious reasons. He said in 2004, yearly dosing started for lymphatic filariasis and there has been some improvement, but there are a lot of challenges. He said the Health Directorate has been able to reduce incidence rates of onco so that for 2 years there has not been a single case of guinea worm, and now there is only a 5% prevalent rate.
The one thing true about it takes time. Like for instance, for onco like this, the person needs to be on the treatment for about 10 to 12 years before the mother worm is gotten rid of. So what the drugs do is that, as the mother worm is is there, reproducing, then immediately they kill. The drug will just quickly kill the so to speak, the offspring, the small babies. And that's the macrophage. Then it's okay. Then the mother one is dead. You say, now the uterus will now become tired. So when the uterus becomes tired, then
Maimunatu and Alhaji's cases are just two among many patients suffering from one of numerous NTDs. According to the World Health Organization, neglected tropical diseases are a group of 17 parasitic and bacterial infections that affect over 1.4 billion people worldwide. These diseases cause illness and hamper economic development in poor populations. Ghana is burdened with a number of neglected tropical diseases. As its most significant achievement, Ghana has successfully interrupted transmission of trachoma so that the disease is no longer a public health problem. Building on the existing experience of NTD control in Ghana, the Neglected Tropical Disease Control Program began working with Ghana Health Service and other local partners and groups to support integrated NTD control in 2007. 5 diseases were targeted: schistosomiasis, onchocerciasis, trachoma, lymphatic filariasis, and soil-transmitted helminthiasis. Samuel Odum is the acting program manager of the NTD control program, and he says even though most of these programs have been successful, it takes a lot of time and dedication. For instance, the success of the onco program took more than 2 decades.
The disease is highly stigmatized, and for that reason, people would want to try to cover it up to make sure that people don't see them. And when we want to even do examination for people who have that condition, because it's done in the public, mostly at the community level, they wouldn't want to come up openly for them to be diagnosed and then assisted in whatever form that we can. Then the other point is that we also are cash-strapped, except for the few support that we receive from outside. Puts in very little, let me say, very little to support the program.
According to him, the nature of the NTD program requires administering drugs to communities. This requires the service of volunteers to administer most of the drugs and make sure that community members take them. But this also takes a lot of money and resources. He noted that government needs to take the issue of NTDs seriously, or else it might be a lot of decades before they are properly managed in the country. So, can Ghana win the fight against neglected tropical diseases?
I am very, very optimistic that we can win the fight. I'm saying this because it's on record that at the beginning of the program, there were communities in Ewutu-Futu-Senya district that had prevalences of microfilariae for lymphatic filariasis as high as 40-45%. 9-10 years down the lane, you do a survey in those communities and it is 0%, which means that we've been able to break the chain of transmission, and for that matter, we are no longer distributing drugs in those areas.
Recently, government promised more than $1 million to the fight against NTDs. But Idrisu Imbanya, Tamale Metro Disease Control Officer, says government should do more than just promise and show more commitment by ensuring that the monies are released to fight the diseases. He said all it takes is commitment. Samuel Odum agrees and admits that the success of reducing NTDs is not only the work of government. Community members also need to be educated more on changing their attitude and lifestyles towards a lot of things. Self-medication should be avoided, and community members should visit the nearest health center. Memuna too agrees and says a lot of education is needed. She says even though she has been able to manage hers, there are a lot of people out there who still need help with their ailments. Even though Ghana seems to be doing well in the fight against neglected tropical diseases, a lot more needs to be done and all hands must be on deck.